So, what you guys are about to witness right now is undoubtedly one of the most powerful lessons that I learned from my mentor, Bob Proctor, while I studied with him for 2 years. It was the things that took me from zero to $100,000 a month in less than 45 days. And I know it wasn't luck because I did it twice. What you're learning in this lesson is a lesson that I train on my clients on fusing the frequency, right? Because there's a version of you that you want to make more money, have more happiness, have a better relationship, have your dream life. And you know it's out there in the matrix, but how do you get it? You know you're working hard, but it's like right there because you haven't matched the frequency. So in this long lesson, it's the same lesson that I give to my clients. I'm going to be teaching you exactly how to do that. So make sure you stay to the end, get out a piece of paper, a pen, and a notebook, and make sure you pay attention. Everything's gonna want to distract you. I know it's long. Get out, like put away Instagram, put away your phone. Like guys, this is a lesson that I give in my $10,000 program. So stay tuned. And by the way, if you want help with that and you want more lessons just like this one, the first link in my description is my school group. All of the lessons, all 30 lessons of me teaching what I learned with my time in Bob Proctor that's made me over $2 million online using mindset scaling business. You can find it in the first link in the description below. Or if you want to work with me closer, let's just say you're a 6 to 7 figure entrepreneur, click the second link and book a call with me. Other than that, let's get straight into the lesson. Enjoy this one. Today's Fuse the Frequency. I think it's an important lesson. I spent several hours writing it for you guys. I actually have a lot of fun writing these lessons. If you guys don't know, I've probably said it before, but Quantum Leap was actually a program I wrote for myself. I had read Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill back when I was like sleeping on my grandparents' couch again after all the success with Bob Proctor, and I was like rewriting my life. And there was a part in the book where Napoleon Hill, who had a little bit of success after having the manuscript of Think and Go Rich, he went broke, and actually somebody was trying to kill him. And I don't know if you guys knew this about him. And then, anyways, in that book, he talks about a period where he got fed up. He made a decision. He's like, I know about all this mindset stuff. I have Think and Go Rich, and look at me how I'm living. I need to apply this to myself. What would be the step-by-step plan for somebody to become successful? And that is when he got the idea to write, I don't know which book it was. He ended up writing a book, and he started doing live events, live teachings in schools and universities. And he said, I'm going to apply this material to my life by teaching it to others and earn millions of dollars. And you guys know the rest of the history. And because of the success I had in my past prior to this, I was like, man, why don't I apply it? Why am I studying Joe Dispenza and talking about Bob and talking about all these people? What about my philosophies? What does somebody need to go to quantum leap their life? Because remember, I wrote this literally sleeping on a single bed and my grandparents out, like we have like this little efficiency. And there's this single little bed, and I had one little chair in it, and I wrote this program in that room. And here we are, 1 year later. Isn't that kind of cool? So it's really fun for me to write these lessons, and it's an honor for me to present it to you guys. Let me know your guys' feedback. I write this in a way where you guys can A, get educated, B, implement it, answer, just hit these from different angles. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Fusing the frequency. All right, I come up with these names while I'm in the shower, if anybody ever wondered. Most of my YouTube videos, that's my shower time. Who's a shower person? Drop one in the chat. You get all your ideas in the shower. Drop a 2 if it's while you're driving. You get these ideas while driving. Number 3, if you're a person who gets your downloads between 2 and 5 a.m., you just wake up with an idea. Where are you at? 1 is my shower people. 2 are my drivers. 3 are my 2 to 5 a.m.ers. Who are you? Trick question. All of them work for you. Let's do it, guys. All right, fuse the frequency. The power of aligned decision-making is the gatekeeper of power. So there's a single moment, a divine millisecond that can unlock the entire... Let me make this bigger for you guys. Everybody can see clearly? Yes? Cool. Let me do this here. Cool. There's a single moment, a divine millisecond, that can unlock the entire life that you desire. It is not when the money hits your account. It's not when the relationships work out. It's not when the algorithm favors you. It's when you decide. And this hits all of you. Fernando, it's not when the algorithm decides to be successful. Isa, it has nothing to do with the amount of views you're getting that starts the business. Rob, YouTube has nothing to do with how many views you're going to get. It's good to see you, Rob. I haven't seen you in a minute, but bro, my views are down this month. Last month of June. I only got 37,000 views. I used to average 100,000, but yet last month was one of the most profitable times of my life when views are down 60-70%. So it doesn't matter what's going on in the outside world, ladies and gentlemen, but I say this but it's about how you apply it. It's about application of this. Decision is a frequency. This is why I call it fusing the frequency. You guys already know what the frequency is. What is your frequency? Your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. You always hear the gurus, especially spiritual gurus, talk about we have to raise our frequency. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean just feel good for the moment? No, I'm talking about long-term application, going off into the world and living from a higher version of yourself. That is your thoughts, that is your feelings, and that is your actions, and a soup together mix that you amplify to the world. Like this image here. This image here represents your frequency. It's your thoughts, it's your feelings, it's your actions, and you're sending it out in the vortex. So therefore, decision making is a skill, it's a mental skill that you will learn to use. And I have to go a little bit quicker. It's a long lesson I have for you, but it's what we're going to use to select from the frequency and choose what we want. It's not about what you say you want. It's about what you energetically claim. Until your decision is made, your energy is fragmented. Your vibration is unstable and your power diffused. So Casey, you've already decided to go to Spain, and we can see that by your background. But before that, you were thinking, should we go to Spain? Should we do this? Should we do that? It was more of like putting it together. But now you're mentally insane. It's Spain, right? I'm assuming it's Spain, right? Right? If I remember correctly, right? So you're mentally there. You're thinking about the summer. You're thinking about the winter. You're thinking about what clothes you need to get. You're thinking about, your utility bills, right? Life is already there. It's already in the future. Fernando, life is already there when you're booked out and you're thinking about what the next level is. What are you going to do with all the extra income and the freedom you spend with your wife and your kids, right? You're there already. A real decision fuses with a frequency. Let me repeat that. A real decision. Some of you guys say you make decisions, but at the end of the day, a real decision fuses with the frequency and you project yourself to there. I've been having the opportunity to have a lot of one-on-one calls lately, and I've been really enjoying them. I enjoy my one-on-one calls. And time after time, many of us, we come down to making decisions, and some people are afraid to make those decisions. And some of you aren't, and you just keep continuing to level up, making decisions, going and going. Right, Fernando? Like, you're all in on YouTube. Like, you're not thinking about TikTok and your TikTok agency and what TikTok product you're going to sell in your shop like that. You haven't even entertained that. You're so all in on YouTube and going, like, you're in. That frequency doesn't even entertain until I just brought it up right now. Like, you didn't even think about that. You see what I'm saying? There's infinite frequencies that you can be living on until you make a decision. That's when you fuse with it. And once you fuse with it, creation begins instantly. But let me ask you a question, ladies and gentlemen. It's created instantly, but is it created in which realm? It's been created in which realm? When it's created instantly, which realm is really important for you to understand this. Drop in the chat. In which spiritual realm? Correct. It's created in the spiritual realm. This is where another law, in which I don't talk about in this lesson, is called the law of perpetual transmutation. That law basically states that whatever image you hold in your mind and decide to fuse the frequency, it will come into pass. It will begin to manifest. So it becomes created instantly, but in the spiritual realm. But that law states that there's a time period. It could be 3 days, it could be 3 weeks, it could be 3 years. It's just depending on what you're going after. Not someday. It's now, done instantaneously. Okay, so here's how it's supposed to be. Okay, I'm going to start with how you're supposed to do it. Later on in the section, I talk about what you're not supposed to do. Here's what you're supposed to do. You take from thought energy. If you watched my YouTube video from yesterday, I talked about this idea of the code. I recommend that video. There's like this infinite code, formless substance all around, right? And we can impress upon that code. So if we're doing this correctly, we are going to use our imagination, one of the mental faculty that's Christ consciousness, which separates us from all the living creatures. We're going to use our imagination to form an image of what we want. We're going to take that image in our conscious mind and plant it into the subconscious. How do we do that? With an image. You play a mental movie. We're going to do this repetitiously because repetition amplifies and solidifies. If you're not, a big mistake a lot of people do is they're changing consistently. 1 week they want this, 1 week they want that, 1 week it's ever changing. They're never fully impressing onto the subconscious. So now you plant to the subconscious, which then alters the vibration of the body, which is our action. Now you're operating from a higher. Here, I wish I could write. I don't know how you can write on Notion, But anyways, so follow my mouse here. So you're taking actions to the degree of this new image, the higher frequency. Okay. So whenever you're taking actions, ladies and gentlemen, you're taking actions to the degree of a frequency. This is so important. You're never going to hear this from another person. You're going to take actions to the degree of a certain frequency. Meaning, Rob can go out there and make a YouTube video with the same title and the same thumbnail as Sarah, which I don't think we have a Sarah on the call. So perfect. But because Rob did it in a certain way, I stated in Science of Getting Rich, he did it from a different frequency, a higher frequency, and he'll get 10 times more views than Sarah, who did the same video with the same title and the same everything. Because it's not just the action, it's the degrees from which you take the action. This is what people don't understand. When we say raise our frequency, that's what I'm talking about. I'm having you guys rewrite your self-image so you take actions to the higher degree of your higher self-image. So in this example here, follow the flow. We're here and we're taking actions to the degree of our higher frequency, which then we send that signal out. And when it's done, we're done. That's all we have to do. This is where we just have to let go and let God. We detach. We reject the projection. We have now done the work. We have done the action with the image in our mind. This is what the work is, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. You're taking actions in a certain way. It's literally a chapter in Science of Getting Rich. So like this image says, you project it into the matrix. I love this image here. You're projecting that new frequency out, and it's amplifying it the week in and week out, day in and day out of your meditation. And because I love it right here. We should draw a law of attraction right here. Now, the law of attraction, what everybody loves to talk about, is always a reaction to the frequency that you're sending out. You send out a frequency, like a radio signal, it tunes in back in the people, situations, and circumstances known as your results. So if we want to change our external results, we have to change our frequency. This is what we're supposed to do. I taught this before in our last lesson on reject the projection, I believe. Or no, I didn't. I taught this somewhere else. If not, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I just want to remind you of this because this is what we're supposed to do. So indecision is a silent killer. Indecision feels harmless, but it's a mental poison. It fragments the mind, splits the spirit, and invites anxiety to dominate your field. Ambivalence, as you guys have read in the article by Bob Proctor, I think it's one of the best articles on decision making. We talk about ambivalence. Ambivalence is essentially having opposite feelings towards the same subject. What would that look like? Let's just say you wanna go on a vacation, and one part of you wants to go to Dubai, which is for most of you across the world, especially for those of you in North America and stuff. So one part of you is like, yes, I would love to go to Dubai. I want a vacation there. I just want to check it out. It sounds inspiring, right? Or replace whatever city you want to go to. That's not the point. One part of you wants to go, but the other part is like, that's so far away, but I have the kids and I have the mortgage, and oh my gosh, the flight is $2,000, and oh my gosh, how much, right? It's like you have two feelings towards the same thing. One pulling you, one going forward, one going backwards. That's just a vacation. Most people do that with their life. Do they want to get married? Do they not want to get married? Do they want to start the business? Do they not? Do they want to start the YouTube channel? Do they not? Isa, if you're here, you have ambivalence towards starting your stuff in English. That's what's happening. You have ambivalence. You have two different feelings. One wants to pull you forward. Let's start in English. The other one is pulling you back, which you already know what those are. Two different feelings. What does that create? Confusion. And it's just delay time. It's just delay time. Some of you, everybody's in different stages here, especially like Rich, you're in a different stage. You don't really have this right now. We're starting from ground up, but you will hit this next month. Now we're going after something else. And you're like, oh, I don't know. But after your trip to Portugal, we'll have it. And we're going to go after it. Everybody's in different stages. So this creates internal war, and where there's war, there's no power. Are you empowered to go out there and start that YouTube channel, make those videos? How are you feeling, Rob? If you're still posting content, you're posting, like, you feeling ambivalence, right? One's like, I want to do this. The other one's like, shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's an internal war. Stop, go. That's what I'm talking about, bro. And I don't know. I just made that up. I don't know. We haven't talked in a minute. So but we got to say it. That's what we're talking about here, right? So when you delay your decisions, whether it's a relationship, an investment, a pivot of your or your future, you're choosing to live an energetic limbo. And now when you take that action, you're taking it at a lower frequency. Always remember, you're always taking an action to the degree of a frequency. You have to remember that. You're not going to watch that in somebody else's YouTube videos. because I preach that you guys get results and you take actions. I'm not the lottery type guy. You never see me make some YouTube video talking about manifesting the lottery. I'm always about results. It's a strong value of mine. I value results. I value quality work. I like people that work. I like people that produce. These are just important things to me. From where I come from, these are just important things. And so that's what I talk about. That's what I encourage you guys to do. You're not going to come in here and just pull money out of the universe. You're going to create value in the world. Like I had this guy comment on the YouTube channel. He said, "Oh, you made 80K by selling courses." It's like you didn't manifest them. Like, well, what is manifesting? Creating value, right? That's all it is. It's like everybody here is going to be creating value in some way. And so what happens is if you are in an energetic limbo, you're not creating an action from a higher frequency. Casey, there's a version of you that's living your dream life right now in Spain, doing everything, going to F1 in Monaco, like just with the kids and just this and that, like an absolute dream. But the only thing that we need to close the gap on, which you know is that knowing and doing gap, is making some decisions. There's only a few decisions you need to make to get closer to that, or whatever example of what you want to build with your life. Your body may be moving forward, but your soul is stuck in the crossroads. So indecision is the birthplace of confusion, anxiety, and self-doubt. If you've been feeling confused lately, if you've been feeling anxiety lately, if you've been feeling self-doubt, you haven't decided to go all in. I'm all in. I'm so in, like you guys have no idea. Now you might be saying it's easier for you to say, DeAndre, because look at your YouTube channel, you have all these clients on the call. But guess what? I was doing it before you guys got here. That's how I got on this frequency. Where did you guys come from? Think about it. I'm literally creating value from thin air. Like, what do I even do here? Like, what am I really doing? I'm sitting here in front of my camera teaching concepts. Like, literally creating value from thin air. And I did this a year ago, which I showed you guys the bank statements. So I create space first by the vacuum, then the clients will come. And now who you guys are. This is what you have to do. The clients, the sales, the investments, the money, everything that you want is literally on the other side of you fusing the frequency. But if you're not making decisions, the lack thereof is confusion, anxiety, and self-doubt. It's not that you don't want, it's not that what you do, it's not that you don't know what to do, it's that you don't trust what you already know. It's like a tongue twister. It's that you're not trusting what you already know to do. Implementation, okay? I want you to think of one area of your life that you've been indecisive. I'll spend 60 seconds max on this. What's one area of your life, health, wealth, relationships, hiring that coach, moving to that city, an investment, new platform, new business, new offer, whatever. Think of an area of your life where you've been indecisive. Put it in your mind now. Okay? Now here's the point. What has that indecision cost you? Emotionally, spiritually, or financially? I'll give you 60 seconds to think about that. Maybe even write it on your phone. If you write it, it'll be even more impactful. Write on a piece of paper, which I should recommend you guys have on a call like this. Write it on your phone. Think of an area of your life where you've been indecisive. What has that indecision cost you emotionally, spiritually, financially? What are some examples? Sleepless nights. You're falling asleep at 2, 3 in the morning. You're tossing and turning. You go to sleep at 1 a.m., wake up at 5 a.m. You can't sleep right. You're feeling guilt or shame because you can't make that decision to tell that one person what needs to be said. You know deep down inside you're supposed to start that business, start that channel, create content, and you feel like you're not living up to your true self. You don't feel you're fully confident because you're not keeping your commitments to yourself. These are just examples. Okay? All right, let's continue. So that's for you. Make a decision right now on this call of what you need to do. How do you need to respond to that answer? So here's a visual of what ambivalence looks like. So you have the status quo keeping you where you're at, and then you have your change. So it's one person having two different feelings. Ambivalence. One is moving you forward, one is keeping you backwards. All right, let's go into section 2 now. Circumstances are a lie. You say you can't make the move, you can't make the investment, start, pivot because of your circumstances, but that's an illusion. talked about this mostly on rejecting the projection. You should know this already. Circumstances are not the fact; they're reflections of past decisions, and I have an illustration of that in a second. I'm actually changing the name. I like you guys like projection rejection better or reject the projection? Which do you like better? You guys like for as far as naming it, projection rejection, or should I keep it as reject the projection? What do you guys? Or does it matter? I just feel like the two words together, but it can be kind of confusing. Zane, I know you kind of like that saying. You know, you like that lesson. Projection rejection. I just think it's more simple. But remember projection rejection, guys. The idea of rejecting everything in the 3D simulation. So your current results are a reflection of your past decision, and I have an image to demonstrate that in a second. So we don't want to jump too far. Napoleon Hill says, "Circumstances, I make them." When you let your current situation decide your future, you're now letting the old version of you dictate the new version of you. But real decisions happen beyond logic. It's a spiritual thing. This is so important. Real decisions are not made with logic. Fernando, there's no logical sense of why you should go all in on YouTube when you have 100 subscribers. There's literally no logical reason. Absolutely none. I did it. I went all in on YouTube, betting on paying rent the following month on YouTube when I had no subscribers, and it worked out. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it makes no sense. Sometimes it makes absolutely no sense. But it's not supposed to make sense. It's not a logical thing. It's a spiritual thing. It's something you feel. Rich, does it make sense to go take a trip to Portugal right now? No. You're one part of your mind's like, no, we got to get to work. We got to start the business. We got to get the offer. Let's go. Let's go. It makes no logical sense to go take a 1-week vacation. But spiritually, which I'm teaching you how to work on, something will tell you. And that's where you get your new breakthrough. Is an idea that you have while you're in Portugal at some museum from some guy that you met at the airport. Like, you just don't know the bridge of incidents. Power shift. Most people say, I'll decide when the money shows up. But in reality, the money shows up because you decide. One way I'm implementing this into my life right now is I need to buy my first property. I need to be more responsible. I admit, guys, I'm not perfect. I'm working on my money paradigm. I come from a household where it's like, go to college, this kind of thing. There's no idea of investments or real estate or wealth, an accountant, tax people. Like, these are not things like where I come from, And so like I have a lot of money paradigms now that I have to work on. So for example, there's a part of me that wants to buy a car before I buy my first property. And I'll admit, like, I had an ego hit this morning where I was like, dang, I should probably buy some property. So I made a decision today that I'm going to buy my first property here in Dubai before I buy my car. Because I'm a car guy. So I'm like, but why don't I make more money and do both? But the point is, I decided right now, today, that I'm going to buy my first property here in Dubai. So guess what? I reached out to the real estate agents. I kind of know the area. I have not the slightest clue where to start. I opened up ChatGPT a little bit, but I don't need to worry about all that. All the agents, the locations, the unit, all that stuff will just come into perfect play because I made a decision that I'm going to buy my first property here to start renting out to people, to start parking my money in places. I decided before anything else. Everything else will come into play, ladies and gentlemen. Everything else. The house that I want, or unit, was going to be an apartment, right? It may not even be on the market. That person probably hasn't even thought to sell it yet. Why do I care? Why do I care when or where or how? All I do is decide, what would it look like? How do I want to start my portfolio? And that's all I do. And everybody else can figure out their own stuff, and I just wait for it to fall in my lap. Once you decide, then the unit will show up, then the person will show up, then the money will show up. That's when everything will show up. Once you decide. Fernando, as weird as this sounds, the moment you decide to get paid, bro, is when the people will show up on your calendar. And it's a hard thing for us to understand because we can say we decide something because we say it verbally, because we told our wife or husband or kids. But like, you have to get deeper. There's a deeper layer. Did you really decide to get rich? Are you really tired of being broke? Are you really? Is your mind really fully in there? Here's another example. I decided, well, you guys have heard this story, as I started with Bob Proctor, I decided because I was not going to go back to sleeping on that couch without a plan. My only plan at the time, this is 5 years ago, was to start selling on Amazon. That was my only plan. So here I am. I'm going to lead this Bob Proctor event in Los Angeles. That was his last paradigm shift live before the pandemic. And I decided right there. I didn't care. Like, I was going to get yelled at by my grandfather. Well, first of all, how is that card even available? I never had access to that kind of money in my life at 24 years old. That was crazy. I had never spent that kind of money on anything, like not even a car. $5,000. That's where I'm coming from, guys. I never had more than $2,000 in my bank account prior to Bob Proctor. Never. I had never seen 2,000 comma anything in my life ever before Bob Proctor. And so I spent $5,000 to go with Bob as a consultant. I decided right there, I don't care. Grandpa might yell at me. I don't care if it's gonna work out. I had no idea. I had no idea what I was doing. I don't know if I was a law of attraction coach. I had no idea how I was gonna get a client. I didn't know anything. All I knew is that I needed to go do this material. And you guys know the story from there. Another example is when I packed my bags to Colombia. I can't stay on this negative couch. I cannot have my grandparents yelling at me, telling me to get a job and go do something secure. And I'm like, no, like I'm a millionaire. I just need to figure out how. So I packed my bags to Colombia when I have literally not even $30 to my name. And I pack my bags. I create a vacuum. 48 hours later, I get a random call. Guy gives me $3,000. I buy my flight, my bags are packed. I leave to Colombia. And going all in on YouTube for Mr. Law of Attraction. Well, actually, it wasn't Mr. Law of Attraction. I went all in on YouTube. I said, I'm going to go, literally, I right here in this apartment, I walked into it a year ago. I walked in here. It was $2,000 a month rent or something like this. At the time, it was a lot for me, right? When I first got to Dubai, right? And I said, I'm gonna go all in on YouTube. I have no idea how I'm gonna pay rent next month, but I'm gonna figure this out. And I showed you the bank statements. Poof, took off. I went all in. No idea how I was gonna figure something out the next month. I might be crazy. I'm not encouraging you guys to make crazy decisions, but all I'm telling you is I do these things and it works. It works. These are the things. Anyway, so let's talk about how it works. There's the delay time. So the things that are happening now in your life, here's a cool example that I have. The things that are happening in your life right now are a reflection of your past thinking. Okay, so let's look at this. This here represents your energy levels. Okay, y-axis. If I remember my math and statistics right. I failed statistics. So this is the y-axis, right? This is your energy levels, aka your frequency levels. Bottom, that's time and space. Moving through time and space. All right, so we have the red line representing your feelings, and we have the red line is representing the external world. The blue line is representing your feelings. Follow me here. Blue line, feelings. Red line, external world. You're starting a new project, right? Time and space is zero. You're starting a new project. Casey, you're going all in. You're excited. Zane, you're going on in. Fernando, you're starting YouTube. Rob, where you at? Rob, you're making YouTube videos. When we started that 3 months ago, you're excited. You're hyped. Starting a new business. Let's go. You're the most excited because it's the most and fresh. It's right in front of you. You're the highest frequency. But guess what? Where are the results at? They're not there. It's impossible. There's a law called the law of perpetual transmutation, which states that there's a delay time for the spirit to manifest into material. So because you start now doesn't mean you're going to get results now. There's a delay time. So this represents the delay time here. Between this line and this time and space, there's a delay time. So here we go. We're going through time and space. Now let's just represent that this represents 3 months now. You're 3 months into your new project, your new decision, and you're not that excited anymore. You're not getting the views. The money's not coming in. The clients are not coming. It's not that exciting anymore. You start to doubt. You start to worry because there's no material. It hasn't manifested yet. And then we go to the very end, and now you are about to quit. You're about to quit. You've been rejecting the projection. It's not really there. And then out of nowhere, you get results that just quantum leap. Boof. For example, for me, what happened to me last week, as I told you guys before, that was the highest profiting period of my life ever. Because the first 100K I made in 17 days. This one I did 80,000 in 10 days. Just boof. Just boof. Straight to the top. And now it becomes manifest. Remember, red line represents external results. So now it manifests. Yay! Just a moment ago, you were depressed. So let's take, for those of you that have been with me for at least a month, if we go back just last month, Zane, and I was telling you, remember I was even telling you guys that my YouTube channel is kind of stagnant? That's when people will quit. Fernando, even when you came in, I was like, the YouTube, I'll tell you, I was like kind of like this, like I was just maintaining. This is where people quit, but I'm really good at rejecting the projection. So I kept maintaining states. So to the outside world, it looked like I was just doing my thing. Really, I was rejecting the projection because I know there's a delay time. So now the manifestations show up in your bank account, in your views, and everything in your life. And then your feelings shoot back up and you're excited again. Yay! But not knowing that that was a delay time of what you had done last month. Remember this delay time here? So then, boof, your results drop back down, which I'm already prepared for this. I'm either going to go up or this is my next level. Boom, boom, boom. It doesn't matter what's going to happen. I'm still maintaining feeling states because I know what this is. So now this person, their feelings shoot back up again, not knowing that this negative feelings that they went through has a delay time and it's going to show back up in results that will stagnate them the following month. What does that look like in their results? Up and down, up and down, up and down. Their feelings are controlling their business up and down, and they stay in this up and down feeling for years and years and years, not knowing that they're creating this cycle with feeling states and delay time. And it's just this repeated inconsistency. Why? Because they're not rejecting the projection. You make a decision, then you reject the projection. You work as it. Raise your frequency, and everything will start to work out for you. Is this making sense, guys? Drop a 7 in the chat if you're here. If you're falling asleep, I want to know. Drop a 7 in the chat if this is helpful for you guys, if you're enjoying it. All right, we got to go a little faster. So your current circumstances are the result of your past decisions, and your past decisions cannot help you make future decisions. All right, number 3. There's 12 of these sections, so if I have to finish next week, we'll do it, but we'll just keep flowing. They're getting long because I just try to make them very powerful, but then I notice as I teach, I add extra stories and extra things, and it just makes it a little bit longer. But there's 12 sections here. All right, decisions collapses time and space. So a decision is not just a choice, it's a frequency jump. Okay, remember this image? I'll get to in a second. But a decision is a frequency jump. You go from your current results, you make a decision, and you jump to a new frequency. The moment you fuse with the moment you fuse with the identity of the version of who already has it, time and space start bending in your favor. So the moment you fuse with that future frequency, who already has it, not wanting, not desiring, not someday, but already has it in now, you begin to bend time and space in your favor. People, ideas, and opportunities begin to shift to match your new internal order. That's known as the bridge of incidence. I'll write that there. Why are you not letting me write? That's called the bridge of incidence. Things start to happen. The coaches show up. Everything starts to show up. So your outer world has no choice but to follow. From the moment Kennedy said, "We will put a man on the moon," the outcome was locked in. The how did it matter? The frequency was fused, and the reality had to align. They were creators. So are you, if you wake up and remember who you are. So when you decide in spirit, the universe configures itself. That's called the law of perpetual transmutation. As you guys see here, you make a decision, you go from one state of thoughts to the new state of thoughts. You future project yourself. You future project yourself. So Fernando, when you're making a YouTube video, are you thinking, will this video get views? Okay, only 100 people are going to watch this. Or are you making the video as if 30,000 people will watch this, and you're talking to the 30,000 people through the lens? That's what I talk about as fusing the frequency. One version of you is making this video thinking 100 views. Another person is thinking 100,000 views. Literally, it's that jump in frequency where you create a vacuum, and people can feel it. And people being spiritual creatures, they move towards more life, which means they want to feel the vacuum, and they subscribe to the channel. Now you have your 100,000 views. This is what I'm working on with YouTube. I'm good at it with like cash, but I'm working on it now with YouTube, and I have my boy Parfait on the call to help me with that. Number 4, vision over sight. A decision based on what you currently see is not a decision, that's a reaction. So if you're looking at what's going on in your outside world with how many views you're getting, where the money's at, or everything right now, that you're simply just reacting. You're not creating, you're reacting. You're not called to react in your life. You're called to author it. You're called to build it. So the most pathetic person in the world is one who has sight but with no vision. Helen Keller. Vision is what you vision is what you build your decision on, not evidence, not resources, not validation. You create a vision, which is called a C-type goal, which we did in lesson 1, and it doesn't matter what's going on outside of you. You create it from what you want. It doesn't matter from validation or anybody else. You must train yourself to hold the image of your higher self and fuse with that frequency before you see the evidence. Let me highlight that. You must train yourself to hold the image of your higher self and fuse with that frequency before you see evidence. You will not see evidence. That's the point. If you had evidence and it's not, then you're not creating. The point of creation is to create something from scratch, from the spirit, from the code. So you got to freeze frame that vision. Make it real in your imagination, then you decide. Your job is not to figure out how. Your job is to declare what and hold until it forms. What is the key word here? Let me do this. Until. You hold it until it forms. So remember this image where I showed you guys, here's what you're supposed to do. Okay, remember this one? Here's what most people do. I don't know if I should flip it around. I probably should flip it around, but okay. This is what the point of coaching is in a new lesson. I teach it and I see the flow, but maybe I should flip it around. But here's what most people do, what you're not supposed to do. Their starting point is results. They look at the outside results based on what they see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Those results cause an image in their conscious mind, which then translates to their subconscious mind through feeling, because it's so much easier to get emotionally involved in something in front of you rather than something that's in your imagination. Then they're going to take actions to the degree of the same frequency of the same results, keeping them in the same cycle. So this is why people are stuck. So most people are operating like this. What we want to do is we want to operate like this, where we're creating from spirit. It has nothing to do with what's going on outside. What we see here, smell, taste, and touch, has nothing to do with what we're creating. You guys have to remember who you are. That's why I always say this. Remember who you are. Remember, you were put on this earth without instructions. And your parents didn't give you the instructions, most likely. If they did, you probably wouldn't be on this call. Right? You'd already be some billionaire somewhere. So we're not given these instructions. We were created in God's image. And you have the ability to create on this earth whatever it is that you want. Literally. And and to even argue, it's actually easier now. Would you say the average community or society, think about your country, Americans, Canadians, is your average society, is it going towards consciousness or backwards from consciousness? The general public, let's be honest. As an American, I'd say it's going backwards. For now, it's going backwards. Are there individuals that are moving forward? Absolutely. But I would say the general public is going backwards with consciousness. Things are just not making sense. Common sense. So therefore, it makes it so much easier because the average society is sleeping. So here you are, you're going to build your business, you're going to build your YouTube channel, you're going to start that company, you're going to start that brand. Where average people are sleeping, here you are using consciousness from spirit because you remembered who you are, and you're just going to you're just going to build something massive because everybody else is sleeping. While they're walking, you're running. I would argue it's easier to create now because average person has no idea what's going on. And because they're not thinking and energy is always moving towards a higher form, you'll naturally just pull those people into your gravity. You know what's the best way to say this? What is like the new platform that's like growing right now? Streaming. I'm pretty young. I'm 29, I think. I don't get the streaming thing. Like you sit, these kids, right? These young guys sit in there watching other men have fun. Like that's so weird to me. Like the whole idea of streaming, and these guys are making millions doing it. Like that means that millions of people have to be watching these people have fun on internet, which makes me think that that's a perfect example of a sleeper and somebody who's creating. And that's a perfect example of what's going on in the world. We have the people who remember who they are, who are creating opportunities, creating entertainment, creating things, and then we have those sleepers that are just watching other people. That's what I remember by remember who you are. Which one are you? Are you the guy creating the streams? Or are you watching the streams? I think that's a weird thing, and I see this, and I'm just like, man, society's going in a weird direction. Decide in advance. What are we doing on time? We're okay. Decide in advance. Decision is not just a moment; it's a mindset. I don't know. Oh, it was in the article of Bob Proctor. Like during Ramadan, like the Muslims don't eat during the daytime. Like you can't convince them. Like it's not a moment; it's a decision. Like they're all in. Try to like you can't even find pork in Dubai. Like you have to go searching for it. And even then, it's like in this haram section in the back where it's like walls, and you have to like open the door. You feel like you're going into like an adult store or something. That's what it feels like to try to find the pork section here in Dubai. It's like in the back room, like it's like other. It's different. Like you're not gonna find it here in Dubai, which I don't really miss it. It's just funny, right? That's an example. They made a decision. It's a mindset. So when I ask you, Fernando, are you going to build a YouTube channel this year? Are you going to make money from it this year? Rob, are you going to get clients running your YouTube channel? You see what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying. It's a mindset. Y'all can't phase them, right, Yvette? Like Muslims are dedicated, right, Yvette? When on Fridays you go to any mosque and they got you gotta respect them, right? They're blocking the freeways. I've never seen something like they are such a dedicated culture.
Right.
It's a mindset. It's a culture. They are really strong on commitments. How are you committed to your C-type goal, ladies and gentlemen? Is it a mindset or is it a moment? And what does a moment look like? One day you watch a YouTube video, you watch an Instagram, you TikTok, you watch this movie, you're so motivated to hit the gym, you wake up at 5 a.m. Oh, we're gonna get up early. We're gonna stop. We're gonna hit that diet. Oh, for me, it's the shisha, right? It's not smoking shisha. Like, and then you fall off. You fall off. Ingrain it as a mindset. You cannot eliminate. You can eliminate most of your daily mental clutter by deciding in advance who you are, what you stand for, what you will or not accept, and what frequency you are on. This is another lesson when it comes to like personal life. Making decisions, it's called decision fatigue. Okay. When it's late at night, let's just say you had a long day, it's now 11:30 at night, you don't make the best decisions in life. Especially when it comes to food, you're more likely to eat the fast food or the fattier foods or miss your diet really late at night. That's because of something called decision fatigue. Anytime you start in the morning, you have the highest decisions. That's why they say when you start your morning, you're supposed to eat the big frog first, meaning you're supposed to start your most difficult tasks in the morning because that's when you're the most mentally coherent because your decision willpower is the highest. So I want to urge you guys to think, how can you make decisions, a big decision that takes rid of all the little micro decisions? What do I mean by that? Okay. So, let's talk about, for those of you that are creating content, drop a 3 in the chat if you create content. If you create content for your business or desire to create content. Okay, so what would this look like if you're not operating from this level? What I want to explain to you in this example is a big macro decision. If you make a big macro decision, it will take care of all the little micro decisions. What is an example for my content creators? Okay, let's just say you didn't make the macro decision yet, which is I'm going to build my YouTube channel. I'm going to build my TikTok. I'm going to build my audience. And this month, I'm going to make $100,000 servicing my clients in my niche. That's a macro decision. If you haven't made that yet, follow me here. If you haven't made that decision yet, You probably didn't make a piece of content today. You're deciding, Fernando, should I or should I not make a piece of content today? Should I or should I not post today? Should your daily actions is wondering if you should make the piece of content. Should I make it like this? Should I make it like that? I'll delay it to after lunch. Like, you're delaying it. So what's happening is you're playing in the micro level, hour, day to day, if you should make that piece of content. Why? You're playing at the micro level. Should I do it before lunch or after lunch? Should I make it on Monday or should I make it on Tuesday? Should I hire a videographer or should I just do it myself? Those are micro decisions that take up so much time and space because you haven't made the macro decision, which is this is what's going to happen at the higher level. Do you guys think that I will make a YouTube video this week? Do you think I will make a YouTube video next week? Does anybody have a doubt? Does anybody doubt that I will make a YouTube video this week, in the next 2-3 days, in the next week, in the next month? No, everybody knows for a fact I'm going to make it. Why? I have made the macro decision. So everything else comes into play. And I bend my life around that. I don't have to decide to make a YouTube video today. It's already done. That right there for my content creators is an example of that. Right, Yvette? Have we decided to build the channel? Is the content coming? Is the content coming? Fernando, right? You're feeling it now. You're making that decision. Boom, boom, boom. Right, Isa? We make that macro decision of English the moment, right? Because you've been with me for a month now, right? If we made that English decision, we probably would have had, poof, everything. But you can start today. You don't worry about the past. You make that decision today, Isa. Next month, you have your clients in English and you have your whole new business in English, but you have to make your macro decision, macro meaning bigger. And then you don't have to fight yourself every day. Like, do I make it in English? Do I make it in, but my English and this? No, it doesn't matter because you have a bigger vision. You have a bigger decision. Does everybody follow me here? Does everybody understand that? So that right there is called decision fatigue. And it takes away, sucks energy away from what you're creating. Okay? That's what we mean by decision. How are we doing on time? Okay, I'll finish there's actually 12. We're only halfway. So I don't want to break this up, but I might have to just have it in 2 parts, right? So we'll finish up on decision making next week, but I see some questions coming up and some implementation integration. So I'll spend the last few minutes helping you integrate this into your life because I don't want to just spend a bunch of time teaching. So let's continue. What did I just give you in that example for my content creators is you have to decide in advance. The moment you decide, all the little micro decisions kind of fall away. You decide on who you are, what you stand for, what you're willing or not willing to accept, what frequency you are on. This is what gives you, the leaders, their edge. They don't have to waste energy negotiating with weakness. They don't have to spend time negotiating with yourself. What's an example of this? Now, I don't know. I'm just going to ask the ladies here. Ladies, if you're going to go to a nice dinner, you don't know what to wear. You've been searching for an hour now on what to wear. Do you feel a little tired after that? Like what dress you're going to wear and with the shoes and the matching and the hair and everything? Let's just say you didn't have something to wear and you're like scrambling to put something together for an hour. Are you like, you might be a little tired after that, right? It's just like a lot of decisions. That decision fatigue. That's why we just wear the black shirts, right? Like the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world. These guys just wear the same thing because of this optimization of decision fatigue. Anyways, let's continue. So when you've already decided on what, when you've already decided, you don't argue with the circumstances. You don't break your integrity under pressure. And you don't hope for alignment, you create it. Okay, this will be our final section because, like I said, we have a lot more in here. Look at this. I don't really know how long these lessons are until we start, but like I spent a lot of time building this for you guys. Anyways, we're halfway. So I'm just going to do this final section. We'll do the next half on Tuesday. So we'll talk about the identity behind the decision making because we were never taught how to make decisions. This is literally what I'm teaching you guys here on this call is I'm improving a part of your mind and a part of your psychology and identity so that you can make solid decisions. Most of you are good decision makers, right, Yvette? We get on a phone call, we overcome those limiting beliefs, and right on the call, boof, right there, you decided. Great job, right there on the call. And this goes for most of you on this call. All right, you guys decided to purchase right there on the first call. You guys are good decision makers. There's some people that they, goodness gracious, and it's usually the guys that pay you the least amount of money. That's why I always, for all my coaches in here that I'm working with you, you gotta charge high prices. You don't want those guys who'll spend $1,000. They will flood you. I think I showed this to you guys, right? I want to show this to you guys. Like here's and that. Where's this guy? Yeah, I blocked his number. I had to block him. Holy shit. Where's this guy at? I blocked him. Yeah, I think I showed this to you guys. Where's my camera so I can see what I'm looking at? Look at this guy. This right here is a guy. This is a lead that came in. This is a lead that came in, right? So he came in. We're having our conversation. I don't really know who he is, or what he's qualified for, right? Having our conversation, sending the messages, right? And then we just this back and forth starts happening. Then look at my messages. I just start replying a little bit less now, a little bit less, and I'm just starting to figure out who this guy is. Look, I was very active up here, right? Because I don't really know who he is. Look, very active, and then I realize who this guy is. A guy who cannot make decisions. Look at this, guys. Now I stop replying. This is, ladies and gentlemen, look at this. Look at this. I just stopped replying. He can't make decisions. I just end up blocking his number. He just wanted his back and forth, and finds out he only has $1,000 to spend. We're not doing that, high ticket coaches on this call. We're not doing the back and forth, Isa, with clients. We're not doing the back and forth, Rich, with people who are going to spend $500 a month. We're not doing this. People that are going to spend a lot of money with you will make more decisions. So if you're going to take the energy out anyways, might as well charge a lot of money for it. It's the same energy, Rich, to charge a guy $500 a month than to charge him $20,000. Might as well just charge a lot anyways. You're already on the call with him. Isa takes the same energy to charge $5,000 that it does $10,000. Might as well ask for 10. You'll have a more fun customer, somebody who can make decisions, and it'll be less of like that paragraphs and back and forth with somebody. People who are most successful, who typically have more money, are easier to work with, and it's more fun. I encourage all of you on this call that are service-based providers or product-based providers, charge more. Be the most expensive. You want to have a price that people are like, damn, really? 20,000, is that for the month? For the year? Is that for the quarter? For the month? You charge 20,000 for the month, DeAndre? What the hell? This must be golden or something. And those are the kind of clients I want. And that's why I enjoy working with Fernando. That's why I enjoy working with Yvette and Rich and these clients. I enjoy it. It's more fun. I get paid more. It's more fun for me to work with them. They're more likely to get results because they're more committed. That's how this works, ladies and gentlemen. I encourage all of you on this call to raise your prices. Be the most competitive by charging the most. That makes people wonder, why is your service so expensive? He must be pretty good. And then deliver on it. I assume you guys are going to deliver on what you're doing, all right? But anyways, in that little short example, I'm showing you the difference between a guy like Rich, who just calls me, gets on the phone no more than 10 minutes, and wires the 20,000. I actually had to stop him. I was like, all right, Rich, before you pay me now, like, what do you do? What business are you in? Tell me about what you want to work on. Like, he was ready to pay me right there. Like, that's the kind of people you want, Yvette. You want a guy like Rich to get on the phone, and he's ready to wire you. That you have to like, hey, slow down now. I want to make sure I can help you first. Like, let's go through the questions. That is what we're talking about. You get that from premium clients because they respect themselves. You respect yourselves, and it's a fun relationship. It's a fun business. Where was I going with this? I'm talking about identity, right? Identity. There's the identity of the broke person who's always wasting your time, and the identity of a high quality client. And let me ask you this. Are all of you that join, all my one-on-one clients here, right? Are they reacting to me, or are they reacting to how I see myself? Are my clients reacting to me, or are they reacting to how I see myself? It might be confusing for some of you guys, but always remember, people don't respond to you. They respond to how you see yourself. So if you have a strong self-image of yourself, they will hold you to a stronger image as well. How you treat yourself, other people will treat you. How I see myself is how my clients will see me. And now it's my job. If I want somebody to come spend $250,000 a month with me, I need to raise my self-image. How do you apply this to your life, ladies and gentlemen? This is Yvette. This is why we need to go premium. You are very successful in your business, very successful. Why would we charge $5,000 for one-on-one or $2,000? Remember this? $2,000 for how much success you have, Yvette? That's a crime. No, $10,000, $20,000. Isa, you are so successful in Brazil. $5,000 for one-on-one? That's insane. $20,000. 5,000. It should be 5,000 an hour, Isa.
I agree. I agree.
Yes. Like, guys, this is literally all self-image right here. You either have to earn it, Fernando, like you're like me, like we have to earn it, or you built it already and you just transfer it. Yvette, you're transferring from one to another. East, you're transferring from one to another. All right. Anyways, I'm going to leave number 6 for later on because I'm sure some questions have come up, right? Yeah, because this is a nice little lesson here. Does anybody have any questions? You guys like this lesson? Drop a 7 in the chat if this lesson is resonating. If you're liking it, there's obviously more in there. It stacks on itself, but we're just a little bit over time right now. This is the first lesson ever, so I'm like, you guys are the first one to see it. But I think it's helpful, teaching people how to make decisions. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about some questions. Yvette, I saw you had a question come up. Or whoever wants to unlock. We could talk about a question towards the training. We could talk about integration. We could talk about maybe a deeper explanation. Yes.
I have a question. I also put it in the chat. What if you made the decision but then doubt afterwards?
That you haven't made the decision yet.
Okay, so that's
what I'm saying. Like there's layers to it. Once you're in, okay, like I'm gonna go back to that example because everybody feels it. Let's just say like a vacation. I'm gonna repeat it one more time because everybody has been on vacation, I assume, on this call. Let's just say you want to go on vacation to the Caribbean. You want to go visit Jamaica and the islands. Okay, one side of you is thinking, oh, it's not the right time right now. The kids, the resort is going to be a little bit more than I expected, right? And so you're entertaining it, and it's all about what you could lose or how it's not the right time. When it's the right time, business is not the best right now. I don't have a babysitter. The flight's too long. It's a hot time of the year. All these different thoughts. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. That person has not made a decision. So let's just say you decided to go. You just flip the switch one day and you buy the flights. Right, Isa? The moment you buy the flights, that's when it opens. Now what happens is you future project. At that point now, you're already there. You're probably getting the rental car already. You already booked the dates. You're looking at the weather. You're looking at the visa situation. You already have the money set aside. You're paying down the credit card, so you have your points and stuff. Like you're already there. You've already projected yourself there. You're looking as if you're done. It's already there. One is entertaining it. The other one is future pacing. I'll give another example of this, right? Because it's hard to explain because we can say we made a decision, but until you begin future projecting, you haven't done it. I'll give you one more example so you guys can understand this. When you guys decided to work with me, before hiring me, you're thinking, should I just watch the YouTube videos? Maybe I do a payment plan. What if I just wait another month? Is this going to be worth it? Can you deliver for me? Like, these are the questions you're asking. The moment you guys decided, boom, right? Once you wired me, Yvette, once you wired me, Rich, the next mindset is different. It's like, all right, what's it going to look like? Okay, what's this first task for me? What's the YouTube channel going to look like? Like, it's a different life now. It's a whole new set of questions that come into play. That is what I mean by the line of decision. One is like, it's kind of like a fly bouncing off the wall, all these kind of different angles. And so there's fear in there. If there's fear, Casey, it's because you haven't crossed the line yet. The moment you cross the line, there's no fear. You begin future projecting. Fear and faith are the same emotions, just opposite spectrums. Fear is using your imagination to look at what you want and project what you don't want. Faith is looking at the quantum code and then projecting what you do want. So when you make a decision, you project on what you do want. You're going into future space. So if you're having fear, Casey, you haven't crossed the border yet. Now, when you future pace, you're excited. You are excited about whatever that thing is. You're excited. You're looking at it on YouTube. You're looking at the photos. You're planning. Everything's already there. That means you've decided. Did that help?